Is this finally the year that Taylor Decker makes the Pro Bowl?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Derry with you, a Thursday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today is Thursday, July 11th and a Friday, July 12th. Thanks for making this your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Locked On Lions, at Derry Speaks. Join us on the Matt Derry Facebook fan page. And thank you to our everydayers who are out there that watch or listen every day. But those of you that watch every day for free and subscribe on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, we appreciate all of you for doing that. The voicemails blew up the last couple of days on SpeakPipe. Go to speakpipe.com/Derry podcast page. That is speakpipe.com/Derry podcast page, and leave a voicemail. I'm going to play 2 today on Call of the Day, but I'm playing 2 more Monday. I'm playing 2 more Tuesday. We have a ton of good ones. Some of you left some really good ones. I had a hard time picking where I was going to go, but thank you for participating and being out there and listening, watching, and also contributing by sending in a voicemail. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first ticket purchase. Terms apply. Coming up on the show today, yes, we are back with our Could You Be a First-Time Lions Pro Bowler list. Of course, guys like Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, Laporta, they're all ineligible. Those players, top 5 players on the Lions who could be a Pro Bowler for the first time. Number 5 was Terrion Arnold. Number 4 was DJ Reader on Tuesday. Today, number 3 is going to be a name that we seemingly say every year on this show. Taylor Decker. We will get into that coming up momentarily on Locked On Lions. We told you yesterday with Bradford Banta, by the way, the former Lion was great on yesterday's show. We told you about the comment made by Jeff Schwarz on the -3 podcast with Dave Damashek the other day, where Jeff Schwarz bashed Jared Goff. We will talk about that coming up on the podcast a little bit later on today. And also 2 calls of the day. Who will be our calls of the day off of our SpeakPipe? We will find out momentarily. But thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Also, Postcast, Detroit Sports Postcast. Check it out on the the Locked On Detroit Sports YouTube page. Jake Riepma hosts that. He was on live and direct following today's Tigers clubbing of my Cleveland Guardians. Hey, give the Tigers credit. Tigers took 3 out of 4 from the first place guards today. Get the commentary from Jake Riepma on Locked On Detroit Sports on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. All right. First time Pro Bowler list. We've gone over it. We've talked about it. No Goff, no Sewell, no Hutch, no Laporta, no Jalen Reese-Maybin, no Amon-Ra, no Gibbs, and no Ragnow, because they've all been there before. Same with Kevin Zeitler. We are looking for the guys that we think could be first-time Pro Bowlers on this current Lions roster. We go from 5 down to 1, 1 being the guy that I think has the best chance of making it this season. Lions, of course, feeling good, getting ready for training camp. We are less than 2 weeks away. Reporting day is July 23rd, first practice. Batting third, first practice is July 24th, down at 222 Rodwood Drive in Allen Park. So every year I do this list. I've been doing it for 8 years, starting in 2016 as sort of a summer topic. And every year has been the same. Except, well, maybe the first year I didn't do it because he was only a rookie. But Taylor Decker has been with the Detroit Lions for 8 years. He's a veteran. He's a mainstay. He's been the left tackle since the days of Matthew Stafford, since the days of Jim Caldwell, the Reverend, since the Patricia era, and now, of course, under Dan Campbell heading into year 4. Taylor Decker makes my list at number 3 because I do believe he has the talent and the potential to finally become a Pro Bowler. The problem is, when they do the tackles in the NFC for the Pro Bowl, they really only take 3. You got Penei Sewell, You've got who made it last year, of course, of the Lions. You got Trent Williams of the San Francisco 49ers and Lane Johnson of the Eagles. Now, Lane Johnson, just like Taylor Decker, getting up there a little bit in age, but Taylor Decker is just reliable. He's solid. Playing for a contract this year if they don't re-up him and don't extend him before the season starts, and has a chance to be recognized by his peers as somebody that is a Pro Bowl player. He's never made it in 8 years. But yet you look at the stats and you go, all right, always solid PFF grade, top 10, 15 tackle in all of football, right? Maybe not a top 3 or 4 or 5 tackle. I understand that's how it works, but you never know. In the NFC, there are alternates. There are guys that, Jahmyr Gibbs was a third alternate last year and made it. That's why he's not on the list. He went to the game. Taylor Decker just has never had his number called to go to either Orlando or Vegas for this Pro Bowl. But he keeps Jared Goff clean. He's reliable. He's durable. I think in 5 of the 8 seasons, I believe, he has played in every game. Even when hurt, he plays injured. He's out there. And he's just a leader. He's one of the captains, emotional about being in Detroit, and a guy that I just think is very, very steady at left tackle. And I, for one, am hopeful that the Lions do give him an extension, even if it's a 2-year deal. Maybe he's asking for 4. I don't know. But you start talking about Jared Goff's blind side. You start talking about maybe switching things up on the offensive line. And yes, when Decker was out 2 years ago at the start of the season, Penei Sewell slid over to left tackle and then went back to right tackle. Penei Sewell's better on the right side. He is. Yes, I know. In college, Penei Sewell is a left tackle. Yes, I know. He's a dominant player and a great player and could probably go to left tackle and be fine. But I want Decker at left tackle and Sewell at right tackle. I just know when Taylor Decker's in the lineup, the things are going to be all right. Is he a stud? Is he the best? No. Like we said, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson. Those guys are tremendous. But man, Taylor Decker's just solid. I'm rooting for him. Just one time. Can he get a Pro Bowl bid one time? Can he be like a first alternate and then make it so we can take him off this list? All right. Very good pass blocker. Very good pass blocker. Solid run blocker. And like I said, great in the locker room, wants to be here, has always stated he's wanted to be here. He has toughed it out through some bad times. And rarely does he swing and miss over there at left tackle. Rarely do you see someone bearing down on Jared Goff's backside for a blindside hit and a fumble or anything like that. It's because Taylor Decker takes care of business. Big number 68 is a heck of a football player. So I'm hopeful this is the year. Maybe he doesn't make it right away. Maybe as an alternate, he gets his name called, but he can be taken off of this list. Because his teammates, Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, I get it. They've been there multiple times now. But Decker is really good. And I think this year, Decker and Glasgow being next to each other will be a better duo on that left side than Decker and Jackson were. And Jonah Jackson's a good player. Didn't have a great year last year, but this is why the Lions win games. It's because of the offensive line and guys that have experience and have been there. And Taylor Decker's played 8 years now with the Lions. Isn't that crazy? Of course, when he was drafted in the first round out of Ohio State. All right, coming up next, Jeff Schwarz, who I really like, former NFL offensive lineman. He's all over the podcast scene, does a lot of different shows. He was on the -3 podcast with Dave Damashek, Love Sheck, the Pittsburgh guy, and said some very interesting things about Jared Goff, which surprised me. We brought this up yesterday with Bradford Banta, the former Lions long snapper and tight end. If you want to go back and watch or listen to yesterday's show, do that. But I want to refresh this and revisit this because I think it's completely unfair. And we'll do that coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. And folks, Locked On Lions for today is brought to you by the Gametime app. Gametime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices in the Gametime app usually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Look, this weekend, if there is a weekend that you want to go see your Detroit Tigers, your red hot Detroit Tigers, winners of 8 out of 11, it's this weekend. Ohtani's in town. The Dodgers, the traveling circus that is Doc Roberts' ball club. You want to go see the Dodgers this weekend for a little Tigers Dodgers? You can do it on the Gametime app. Killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Seriously. Monday night, went on Gametime. Monday afternoon, bought my Guardians Tigers ticket. I went down there and hung out. Got to see my team, and it was easy. A couple of clicks of the thumb and fingers, and you're there. It's really easy to use. The view from your seat is great, and you get great deals. Priority last minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. with Gametime. What are you waiting for? Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Do what I did. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Matt Derry back with you on a Thursday edition of Locked On Lions. This is the last week that we will not have a Friday show. I believe we're having a Friday show and back to 5 days a week next week. But thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends about us. Subscribe on YouTube. And please check us out each and every day right here on Locked On Lions. Again, Bradford Banta was on yesterday, and he was awesome. All right, I'm not going to play the audio because I just read it to you, but the -3 podcast, Dave Damashek, who's a big Pittsburgh guy, but he's entertaining. Years ago, was on NFL Network a lot. And Jeff Schwarz, the former NFL offensive lineman, I believe was with the Lions 1 year maybe. We're talking about Detroit. Very complimentary of the Lions. Very saying nice things about Dan Campbell, saying nice things about the team. They're going to be back. They got most of their roster back. Schwarz was saying they're tough. They're gritty. They never seem to quit. Great culture. And then Damashek said, are they going to go to the Super Bowl? Are they going to take that next step, Jeff? He's like, I'm not buying it. And the reason why I'm not going to buy in is because, quote, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, end quote. Let me repeat, Jeff Schwarz, quote, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Goff, end quote. And again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I like Jeff. I think Jeff's good. I think he's a good analyst. I enjoy listening to him. I enjoy following him on Twitter or X. But why can't you win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff? The Baltimore Ravens won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. The Bears were 1 quarter away from winning a Super Bowl in a rainstorm in Miami against the Colts years ago with Rex Grossman at the helm. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl in Baltimore. Jared Goff is a very good quarterback. I get it. Okay. The last few years, it's been Patrick Mahomes. Got to have a stud quarterback. You know, when the Steelers were winning in the 70s, Terry Bradshaw was excellent. When the Steelers won, recently, Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback. Joe Montana won 4 Super Bowls. Tom Brady won 7 or 8 or whatever it was. All right. Known as and believed to be the greatest of all time. Yes, absolutely must have a very good to great quarterback to win. But you can also have just a very good one and win. Brock Purdy last year played in the game. You play in the game and you're in the game, which the Niners were. Why? That means you can win the game. To say, no, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Why not? Jared Goff's been there. Jared Goff played in the Super Bowl for the Rams against the Patriots. I don't understand this logic. If you don't like Jared Goff, maybe Jeff Schwartz doesn't. Maybe you're not a believer. But the Lions were 30 minutes away from getting to the game. And once you get in that game, it's anything's possible. Remember when fans said when Jared Goff was traded from the Rams to the Lions, he's just a stopgap, he's just a bridge. They'll never win. They couldn't win a playoff game with Matthew Stafford. What makes you think they're going to win a playoff game with Jared Goff? They won 2 last year. 2. Jared Goff beat Matthew Stafford in the playoffs last year. Jared Goff beat Baker Mayfield in the playoffs last year. Guess what? Baker Mayfield had won a playoff game more recently than Goff with the Browns in Pittsburgh 3 years ago. This notion that Jared Goff can't win a Super Bowl is ridiculous. Will he regress this year and maybe not have a great year? I don't know. Possible. Is he so bad that, there's no way? Dude had a 20-point lead at the half in the NFC Championship game. I've watched other quarterbacks lesser than Jared Goff play in the Super Bowl. Remember Jim Plunkett? He was a good player. He won a Super Bowl, and in that game went up against Ron Jaworski. Jared Goff's just as good, if not better, than both of those people. So I don't know why you're a bold statement like that. And again, Schwartz's opinion. You're not winning a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Why not? Solid offensive line. Best offensive coordinator in the game. Good weapons. Pro Bowlers everywhere. St. Brown, Ragnow, Sewell, Gibbs, Laporta. Protect him. Make good decisions. I don't understand it. Oh, but Aaron Rodgers is going to somehow take the Jets to the Super Bowl this year, right? No, Aaron Rodgers has won one in Green Bay. I know. Aaron Rodgers, if you look at the careers, of course, Aaron Rodgers is superior to Jared Goff. I'm not telling you Jared Goff is great. I'm not telling you he's a top 5 quarterback right now. I think he's fringe top 10, and I think he can get there. I really, truly believe that. And I think they could win it with him. Not alone. Can't just be him and no material around him. He's not going to run like crazy, right? But to boldly speak and say, nah, you're not winning a Super Bowl with this guy, I don't agree with that. I think this Lions team is primed for a great run again this year. I think he's going to have a really good year. And yes, maybe if Ben Johnson leaves and Ben was the Jared Whisperer and all, could be. But right here, right now, with this team assembled the way it is in a weak conference, I see a path, absolutely, for this Lions team under Jared Goff to win the Super Bowl. A lot of things have to go right. And I know we're in this town. I know Super Bowl, talking about it here is nuts. But I believe in Goff, and I believe that he could do it. All right, coming up next, not one, but 2 calls of the day. Thank you for your submissions after I called many of you out, and I appreciate all of you, all of our everydayers that are out there as well. We will do that coming up next. Call of the day off of our Speak Pipe is next. Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. You got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Enjoy your ride or die. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, folks, here we go. Many of you sent in submissions for our call of the day. If you go to SpeakPipe, SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/Dairy podcast page, DERY, that's my last name, you can submit your submission for the voicemails. We had a lot of good ones. We got a lot of familiar faces calling in. I appreciate our everydayers. I appreciate our go-tos. Today's winners. And again, we're going to play 2 more on Monday. So I was saying Tuesday and Thursdays. I got so many. I got to play. Here's our first submission for call of the day.
Hey, Matt. Jim here. Longtime listener. My wife and I love your podcast, love your YouTube channel. We listen daily. Just curious to see why you think the Lions are going to lose almost every home away game next year. They haven't had a losing record on the road in a couple years. As a matter of fact, last year they won 6. I think their last season was 2021 where they had a losing record. So it's a little strange that they would all of a sudden revert back to losing to inferior opponents on the road like they were prior to the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes era. Just give me your thoughts. Thanks. Love your show. Bye.
All right, there it is, our first submission from Jim and his wife. Love the show. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Jim brings up a very interesting question. When I did do my game by game predictions, and again, this could all change. All right. Rosters change, injuries, everything else. When I did my predictions last month or the month before or whatever, I had the Lions going 10-7 and winning the division. I also had the Lions going 1-7 on the road. Oops. I had them losing in Arizona, losing at Dallas, winning at Minnesota, losing at Green Bay, losing at Houston, losing at Indianapolis, losing at Chicago, and losing at San Francisco at the end of the year. So Jim's calling me out. I don't blame you, Jim. Jim said inferior opponents. Arizona, yeah, inferior, but Arizona's going to be better. I still think that's a tough game going out west. I do. At Dallas, if Dallas is healthy, that the Lions always get rooked, and screwed in Dallas. I am winning at Minnesota. At Green Bay, it's going to be tough. At Houston, tough. Lions have won the last 2 years at Lambeau. They really going to win 3 straight years at Lambeau? At Indianapolis, the Colts are good. You watch out for the Colts. Shane Steichen's a heck of a coach. And if Anthony Richardson is healthy, that's a dangerous team that nearly made the playoffs last year with Gardner Minshew. At the Bears, I have as a loss. It's December. It's cold. Goff was bad there last year. And then at San Francisco for Monday Night Football at the end of the year, that's a difficult game. I'm going to be wrong. I know I am. So, Jim, that's just how I filled it out. I hope I'm wrong. Many of you have already called me out for the Arizona loss, but that's how I feel about it. So that was our first submission on our call of the day. The second one, this one surprised me. Take a listen.
Hi, Derry. Love the podcast. Just wondering, do you have any sneaky player that you think will help the Lions this year and hopefully get to their first Super Bowl in history? The Lions.
That is young Caleb Kochani, who sent in his voicemail. I don't know how old Caleb is, but he's young, and he called me Derry. Yeah, hey, what's up, Derry? Awesome. Caleb, the parents, whoever put him up to that, or maybe it was just Caleb, I don't know, but thank you. Thank you, Kochani family, for listening. Caleb, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much. His question is interesting. A sneaky player that's going to help the Lions this year. No one talks about him, and I rarely bring him up. But Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, is a sneaky player. Now, again, Pro Bowler, awesome as a rookie. I think he's a little bit sneaky. I don't think enough people talk about him. When they talk about the Lions, they're talking about Amon-Ra. They're talking about Laporta. People want to know, are thinking J-Mo. I'm going to put Gibbs on that list as a sneaky player. And the other one, that I think could be sneaky this year is Derek Barnes. I don't know where he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to be inside, outside, rushing the passer as a possible edge. But I think Derek Barnes takes another step forward this year, maybe as a rusher, and gets more time and helps this team win. So, and Sione Vaki could be a sneaky player that somehow helps him on special teams, maybe as a third down back. I don't know. Those would be just a few names that I'm throwing out there, Caleb. But thank you for going on to speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page and sending in your voicemails. A lot of you, I haven't forgotten about you. I heard them all. We're going to play as many as we can because a lot of them were good. I'm not going to play bad ones. I'm not going to play mediocre ones. I want energy and enthusiasm and some fun. And those two were good. And I appreciate Jim and Caleb, today's winners. I'll have two more on Monday. So thank you so much for submitting those voicemails, calling in on the Speak Pipe page. That'll wrap it up for our Thursday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out to the everydayers out there, all the commenters on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Seriously. Appreciate all of you. And we're back again on Monday next week, a full 5 shows.